All right, let's dive into one of the most profound and honestly baffling mysteries of the human mind. It's a phenomenon known as terminal lucidity.
Just think about this for a second. Imagine someone you love, their personality, their memories seemingly gone, erased by disease. And then suddenly, they're back. They're themselves again for one final clear moment. It sounds like something out of a movie, right? But this is at the very heart of what we're going to explore.
So, to really wrap our heads around this, we have to start with a story. And frankly, it's a story that, by all accounts, should be completely impossible.
I want you to meet Anna Esmer. Now, Anna was a 26-year-old woman in a German institution way back in the early 20th century. She had severe mental disabilities, and according to all the records, she had never spoken a single coherent word in her entire life. Just total silence. But then, as Anna lay dying from tuberculosis, something absolutely extraordinary happened. That silence. It broke. For half an hour, she began to sing. Her doctors reported she sang what they called dying songs, with perfect clarity right before she passed away. I mean, how could that possibly happen?
Well, what Anna experienced actually has a name. It's called terminal lucidity, and it's exactly what it sounds like. This unexpected, often incredibly brief return of mental clarity and memory in patients who are suffering from disorders that should make that kind of thing impossible.
And as incredible as Anna's story is, you have to understand it is far from the only one. In fact, her experience points to a much, much wider and deeply documented mystery. Yeah, Anna's case isn't just some one-off anecdote that's been passed down through the years. It's actually part of a much larger and surprisingly consistent pattern of similar events that physicians and caregivers have been recording for centuries. In one big survey, researchers dug through the archives and uncovered more than 80 detailed, documented cases of terminal lucidity. And get this, these cases were found across more than 250 years of medical records, 2.5 centuries. This proves this has been a persistent, if mysterious, part of the human experience for a very, very long time. And this phenomenon isn't limited to just one type of illness either. It's been seen in patients with severe dementia, with schizophrenia, with brain tumors, and a whole host of other conditions that you would think would completely compromise brain function. So you can probably see where this is going. This phenomenon presents a massive challenge to our fundamental understanding of the brain and consciousness itself. Okay, so the standard view in neuroscience is pretty straightforward, right? If the brain's hardware, the cortex, is severely damaged, then the software, the mind, your memory, your personality, is permanently lost. But terminal lucidity is a huge puzzle. How can a mind suddenly function clearly when the brain itself is considered broken beyond repair? As one researcher put it, these cases really force us to question the simple idea that the mind is only the product of a working brain. I mean, if the mind can reappear when the brain is at its absolute worst, what does that tell us about the nature of consciousness? So this all leads to a really critical question for researchers today. If we can't fully explain why it happens yet, can we at least find out what might trigger these incredible moments of clarity? Of course, trying to study a phenomenon that's rare, unpredictable, and happens right before death is incredibly difficult. But some researchers have found some pretty clever ways to look for clues by focusing on patients who experience smaller, more fleeting moments of lucidity. There was this one case study published in PubMed that did exactly that. Researchers had 20 hours of conversation with a woman who had severe dementia, and they meticulously recorded everything to see if they could pinpoint what was happening during her moments of clarity. And when they analyzed all those conversations, a really clear pattern popped out. Her moments of lucidity skyrocketed under one very specific condition, when the patient herself initiated the topic and her conversational partner was simply supportive. And that is such a powerful takeaway. It wasn't about demanding answers or quizzing her memory. Clarity just emerged when the woman felt like she was in control of the conversation, that she was being heard and supported, not just tested. Now, this is so much more than just a fascinating scientific finding. It has profound, real-world implications for anyone who loves or cares for someone with severe dementia. What the study really suggests is a kind of roadmap for fostering these precious moments of connection. First, it's about listening, really listening, for any topic they bring up, no matter how fragmented it might sound. Then, you gently guide the conversation to focus on their chosen subject,
And maybe most importantly, you just maintain a supportive, encouraging attitude the whole time.
By following this kind of approach, caregivers and family members can create more of these moments of shared understanding, and that provides so much more meaning and well-being, not just for the patient, but for everyone involved. It turns simple care into genuine connection.
Which brings us right back to our central mystery. From Anna Eschmer singing for the first and last time, to a grandmother with dementia suddenly recognizing her family, Terminal Lucidity forces us to ask a really profound question. If the mind can re-emerge, shining its brightest right as the brain is failing, what fundamental truth about consciousness are we still missing?